this guy I was talking to, he said his sister has a 2 million person Instagram following, and she's got about $30,000 a month coming in from that. And I'm like, that's amazing. If she knew what she was doing, it'd be $1 million a month, right? My biggest advice, my best advice for anyone who is an affiliate or influencer is like, you need to be building your brand, right? You building your brand and not edifying or building other companies or products. It's like each one of those things are just stair steps for them to get the end result that they're looking for, to either be more like you or to use the tools that you use. But the biggest thing is, man, if people follow you instead of the tools that you suggest, you'll sell to them for the rest of your life instead of just flash pan things.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Hustle and Flowchart podcast with your boys, Matt Wolf and Joe Fear.
All right, Jordan, we are live, my friend. How you doing?
I am so happy today. It's the best day ever.
I know, because you blocked the whole day off, right?
I did by total accident, but it's beautiful. I feel like free as a bird.
Yeah, that's what I was
super
like.
happy.
Welcome. You can take some naps now. You can just, not do much.
I'm not going to lie to you. I actually, and no one knows this. You guys are the first people to ever hear this. I have about a 3,000 square foot office here. It's like stupid big. It's way too big. But I have a closet there that's like super dark and comfortable, and I have like a sleeping bag, and I'll actually go in there and crash it.
That's awesome. It's the best.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Thank you for sharing that. Hopefully your wife never finds this episode.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You come home from work at like way late, and you're like, "What happened? Oh, I overslept." What?
9 o'clock.
Little does she know, I don't actually have a job, so
Bills are paid somehow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, it's nice to meet. I mean, we just met, which is rad. And we got to give a shout out to Mr. Bryant George. He's always hooking it up with the cool people. So it's cool to meet you. And we've been using your product, or Matt has actually, DropFunnels. And well, you tell him what, tell the listeners what you told Jordan about it.
Yeah, so I've been using DropFunnels. My mattwolf.com website that I literally just started building. I figured I'm going to test a new product for that one. This was before George Bryant introduced us, and I hadn't heard of DropFunnels. And I'm trying to remember. I do know how I came across it. Bob Serling, he was thinking about using it, and he was like, "Hey, Matt, have you used DropFunnels?" Because I'm kind of the guy that people go to ask about tools. I test everything. I play with everything. I know every tool that exists, and I've probably tried it. So he asked me if I've heard of DropFunnels, and that was my first hearing of it. So I went, no, but I'm going to go check it out. They've got a trial, so let's go see. So I signed up for DropFunnels and set it up on my mattwolf.com website. And as far as like the actual page builders, I think it's the best one I've seen. As far as like the functionality and getting things exactly in place and lined up the way I want and doing all the, it's been the easiest to sort of dial in the look of the website of any of the ones that I've played with so far.
yeah, man, I appreciate that. It's been we're still breaking a lot of stuff, but it's gotten I think a lot of high level attention, primarily because we're just kind of redefining a market, so to speak. Like we're in what was kind of a red ocean, and now we're redefining that to create our own blue ocean in a different way for a more elite experience for people that are looking for that.
Ooh, I'm curious to hear what that's going to be like. Let's say that for a little later on.
Sure.
But yeah, how you're differentiating yourself from the monsters out there that will say.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into your backstory a little bit. You mentioned before we hit record that before DropFunnels, you used to do a lot of affiliate marketing stuff. So let's kind of let's go through the story a little bit. What were you doing before DropFunnels, and how did you get into the marketing world? And let's sort of dissect that a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like most entrepreneurs fall into it kind of by mistake, or it finds you and that type of thing. And it's like, so my first soiree into entrepreneurship was like I offered to spray paint the numbers on people's houses, like for their house on the curb, with like glow in the dark paint, and which I thought was this great idea. Was in charge like $1 per number or whatever it was, and passed it all around town. I got 0 buyers, and so I realized, okay, I need to learn marketing and sales. I was like 8, okay, so quit beating me up. All right, I was 8.
I love the idea.
Yeah, so I thought that was genius, but no one wanted it. But anyway, what it was is that I kind of got hooked on that bug. It's like, man, why can't we really just bring any idea to life and share that with people? And that really creates this amazing environment where anything is possible for you. So I think ideas are like belly buttons, right? There's too many ideas and not enough people actually bringing them to life. So that's really brought me up to what I call my 21 jobs. I've had like 21 jobs, and each one has kind of built on top of the previous to make it. So I've actually been a filmmaker by trade. I had a film up on Amazon Prime, and I've been seeing on Netflix and CBS and NBC, and kind of had a more media-based area there. But I was doing what I didn't even know was affiliate marketing back when I was doing it. I was referring products to other people, like softwares and that kind of stuff, and tools, and even like bringing in clients for other people, and you can get a fee for that. And so what I found is that just by standing in what I call that gap of opportunity of, hey, these people have something that's great. I don't want to redefine it and build it or figure out any of that stuff. And I know that people need that. How can I just connect those dots? And I didn't even know it was called affiliate marketing, when I was a kid. But then I grew up into learning, digital marketing and finding out what an opt-in page is and what is a list? What does a list mean? How does that work? And how do you engage people? And I think my first direct response product ever was a product by Dave D, because I was a magician as a kid, and got to travel around the United States doing shows for like corporate events and that kind of stuff. And it was a really cool way of giving like an experience to a large crowd. And so controlling their psychology for a point in time, and had crowds into the thousands. And when they're all staring at you like this, you realize, holy cow, I can control people's thoughts and behaviors, and
kind of freaky at the same time.
Yeah, it's like you have this level of control, and I realize, okay, I can only do that on that scale, but to do it bigger, you have to move online, right? So I was buying products from like Dave D, and I was mesmerized. He was a magician too, about how he wrote copy, about how he went about like stacking this offer. He'd have like this $100 course, and it's like, holy crap, already that's amazing. But also there's this, and there's this, and there's this. And it was like, I was the audience in his show. And I realized anyone selling anything, it doesn't matter if it's your product or if it's an affiliate product, often affiliates sell it better than the person itself, than the company itself, because maybe they're stuck in the veil of ignorance, right? They're just selling their own stuff, the fulfillment they're building. Affiliates, the only thing you have to be good at is sales. That's it. And it forces you to focus on that. So I was part of a couple groups that did some high ticket affiliate stuff. And I think we did like 30 million in like 5 years or something like that.
Wow.
And then I realized, just like I've learned that a lot of the top name marketers, they started in, sometimes it's network marketing or affiliate marketing, depends.
Yep.
But they end up kind of ascending from that and realizing, wow, if I can sell the heck out of someone else's stuff, I can really sell my own stuff and keep 100% of it. So that seems to be that trajectory a little bit. But I think it's seriously for most people who want to get into digital marketing or entrepreneurship, the quickest, least path of resistance way to get into it is sell someone else's stuff, someone else's thing. Because you don't have to invent it. You don't have to validate it. You just sell it. That's your job.
Yeah. What kind of products were you selling? And what would you say is like a high ticket offer?
Yeah. So I embarrassingly enough, I would sell like $50 softwares or stuff, almost like what would be now considered like ClickBank type stuff, right? Like just random offers to people. I define high ticket as anything over $1,000.
Okay.
So we were selling like high ticket, like coaching and consulting stuff at the time. And I was actually just kind of a minion hired in by this big team. So don't think like I earned 30 million personally. I did not.
But you're seeing everything happening.
Yeah. And for 2 years, I literally didn't know like what a funnel was. Like I didn't understand it. It took me that long because I was making all their videos and coming from a filmmaker's background. And they didn't even know. Part of the story was I was in low income housing in Branson, Missouri. I was paying like $450 a month, government subsidized, making about $950 an hour at a local TV station, doing all that stuff, and was freshly married. And it was just like, is this really what the world has for me? Right. And so all those like side hustles and things you try to do, I was like, man, I really got to go all into something. So this group hired me on to make their videos. And it was like drinking through a fire hose of information of like, what is an opt-in page? What is a sales page? Why do you sell it for $37? What a weird number. And what is an ascension model? How does that work? And so I was literally shooting green screen videos. If you saw them now, they're super laughable, but these green screen videos in my closet, and they thought that I was like an agency. They thought there was like 10 people on, but it was just me.
I love it. We've been there too, man.
Yeah.
And I both in front. I'm picturing it now.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure we thought it looked better than other people actually.
Yeah. We all thought, yeah, back then I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But they really did convert because I was just good at storytelling, and I would tell stories through that. And they saw some really great conversions. So they hired my agency for $8,000 a month.
Hello.
So I went from like $2,000 a month to 8,000. I celebrated at Ruby Tuesday because that's what I thought celebrating was all about.
It's going big.
So I really crushed it. And that's why I realized, holy cow, like what I thought was the path for me and the way that the world wanted me to go in the traditional sense was just not for me. Like I'm the world's worst employee. Like I can follow rules and I can follow structures, but I had to get more from it. I wanted more.
This is like your paradigm shift.
Oh, it's a huge wake up moment for me.
Yeah.
And so getting that first kind of retainer client at $8,000 and was that with them for several years until I broke off on my own. Man, it was just like, it was a PhD through experience of constant failures, a few successes here and there. And they were all doing affiliate marketing too. So it was really amazing.
Yeah. Would you say that is like some of that goes to just being able to see more, like what's happening with different offers, testing different things? And because like, if you're just trying to do your own product, you're kind of siloed a little bit. You have like tunnel vision more or less, and you can kind of apply something from over here to this offer and see if it works. So even more education.
I think the best thing anyone can do if they can is like literally just get chewed up alive by going to work for someone big who has it figured out. And I mean, one group, I actually worked for free for 3 months just to learn. I was like, I'm really good at copywriting and videos. I was like, I'll build your stuff for 3 months just to get into the environment, and then ended up being accelerated into a partner in that same business, like an equity partner into that, just from putting in my chops and getting,
Nice.
So yeah, I think if you're not going to be doing your own stuff, or just, you really want to accelerate, jump deep into the pond and start working inside of a team where you're going to get exposed to like a bigger mindset, way more opportunity. And you see not necessarily what people teach, but what do they do on a daily basis, right? Like they'll teach one thing in their courses, but it's like, what time do they show up? What's the first thing they do in the morning? What do they really focus on? What numbers actually make sense? And all those
systems,
things,
processes, the routines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All
split
that
tests and like traffic sources and understanding indoctrination and email sequences, so there's a lot to learn. The fastest way is just to dive in really deep.
So along that journey, I mean, there are a couple of things he said actually is the gap of opportunity. I thought that was pretty fascinating too. Thinking yourself as an affiliate at a younger age, you found like a gap of opportunity, just connecting people or connecting an audience to a product as an affiliate. Talking about the learning and all that stuff, that's just a great way to kind of expand what you're seeing in the, just ways to actually create these different streams of income as well while you're starting out, like you were saying. Yeah.
And I think really one of the biggest things, I think that affiliates or influencers or anyone, I guess I'll put it in story form. This guy I was talking to, he said his sister has a 2 million person Instagram following, and she's got about $30,000 a month coming in from that. And I'm like, that's amazing. If she knew what she was doing, it'd be $1 million a month, right? Even through affiliate products, because she's just doing that. Like, hey, here's some makeup that I like, go buy it, right? And it's like, if you can get 30K off of 2 million, you are, and that's great. Like, congrats, that's amazing. But if she really dove into these principles of building an audience, building a list, being omnipresent, she's already started into understanding that gap, right? Which is that there are brands that she loves and she has the audience, making more offers and more higher ticket offers and continual residual offers for that matter.
Right.
She's in the gap right there of opportunity, and finding out your exact zone. So I think really my biggest advice, my best advice for anyone who is an affiliate or influencer is like, you need to be building your brand, right? Because just buying software, they can get that from anyone. They can buy it anywhere. But when they know, like, and trust you, you building your brand and not edifying or building other companies or products, it's like each one of those things are just stair steps for them to get the end result that they're looking for, to either be more like you or to use the tools that you use. But the biggest thing is, man, if people follow you instead of the tools that you suggest, you'll sell to them for the rest of your life instead of just flash pan things.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that we hear. So, as Joe mentioned, affiliate marketing, it represents probably 80% of our income right now. And the reason that we've been so successful with affiliate marketing is we built an audience with a podcast. We've built a large email list. We've built a large following on Facebook, Instagram, all of these places. And that allows us to go and talk to product creators like you and generate affiliate commissions off of the products that we talk about. And had we not built this podcast and this audience and all these platforms, we would have really no system to be promoting affiliate products right now. So, I couldn't agree more as far as the audience building is the sort of key ingredient there. But I want to ask you, I want to sort of fast forward a little bit. How did you transition into the SaaS world? What was the sort of motivation to go, okay, this is the sort of new frontier I want to venture into, and this is the type of product I want to create? Because when it comes to page builders, like you sort of alluded to, it is a little bit of a red ocean when it comes to page builders. So why software, and why this specific type of software?
Yeah, I think only a lunatic would dive into such a red ocean as we did, right? With,
Seriously,
anything surrounding websites, or because you're competing against Squarespace and Wix and these huge, massive platforms. But we happen to be in this. I've always felt that you really don't need to reinvent the category to redefine a niche. So you don't have to reinvent a category to redefine a niche. So here's what I mean by that. I was on other, there's lots of softwares for sales funnel builders and whatnot. So I was on those platforms and doing okay, but I found that this can kind of get really boring. So anyone who's listening, just trust me, it's going to get more interesting in a second. But when you dive into, and money is numbers. So you have to know numbers and you have to know metrics. So I was diving into the metrics and found that there was this huge data attribution lost or attrition between ads to the landing pages, and we'd be getting 100 clicks here, but only 40 clicks land to the page on, and I don't need to, it's the biggest sales funnel in the market, software in the marketplace right now. And I was on there, and had been with them for years, but I found that there were so many issues around page speed. None of my stuff was ranking. There was huge attrition between my ads to my landing page visitors. So I was actually paying 2 to 3 times what I thought I was paying for leads. If you're getting a $2 lead, right, that could have cost less than that if more people got to your page in time.
Wow.
Especially for mobile traffic, it's huge. So there's all these issues. And prior to that, I was building on WordPress. So WordPress powers 34% of the entire internet. It's Google's #1 preferred platform for ranking. It's very fast, infinitely scalable, open source. And so I knew these two things to be true. One is that no matter what, period, sales funnels have been around since the early 1900s. Sales funnels and sales funnel psychology of taking people one step at a time through a sales process is the way to sell more stuff, period. Psychologically, that is the case. But from a tech perspective, Google, Facebook, YouTube, every ad platform and search engine on the planet favors WordPress. But these two things were never connected. So people have added plugins and all that stuff. WordPress is extremely technical. You have to have developers and programmers and all these things. So you're stuck between a bad platform, but good psychology, or a great platform with no psychology and good luck, it's expensive. And so I realized, wait a second, I need to come. If no one else is going to do this, I need to do this. So I hired 5 full-time developers, bootstrapped it, and started to want to build my own dream system to solve my problem. And even back then I was doing some affiliate stuff. So there's actually features in there that is kind of an Easter egg to an homage to my affiliate marketing days, that there's a link tracker built in that's meant for affiliate tracking. So kind of like a click magic type of thing. And then I realized I just need to eliminate one by one all the issues that people have with using WordPress, which is the only reason people that they aren't using WordPress right now, and why they're on sales funnel builders, to get them off of that. So that now when people are jumping in from ClickFunnels, Kartra, Kajabi, any of those things, now you have everything in one on WordPress. Your sales funnels can rank. You have everything all into one, unlimited funnels, courses, link tracking, pages, your blog, your home site. And because it's built on WordPress, you have cheaper traffic from every ad network. Your sales funnels and content all kind of rank in synchronicity. And your pages load exceptionally fast. So your conversions, we've seen people, it depends on your offer, but conversion increases between 30 to 50% because the page load speed is so much faster. Amazon found that for every 100 milliseconds of latency, their conversions could drop 7 to 10%.
That's wild.
I mean,
trust their testing because they're doing.
Trust Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So, and some of these sales funnel builders, they were at, 20 seconds, 25 seconds, 30 seconds for a page load speed test. It's no longer like a luxury. It is a necessity. You have to have fast pages if you're doing any marketing online, period. So we knew we could get that with a WordPress based infrastructure, but with none of the tech. So that was the goal.
I love it because I think my biggest headache with WordPress, almost everything we're doing right now is running on WordPress. And my biggest headache is every single day that I log into WordPress, at least 3 of my plugins need to be updated. Yes. And it bugs the crap out of me.
Really?
Because
that often?
Every day, well, because we've got, I think maybe 20 plugins running at any given time and they're constantly updating. And I think every day, at least 3 of them need to be updated. And it bugs me because it'll be like, I'll notice it at, 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, and I don't want to update them because I don't want my site to go into maintenance mode right at that time, because I know this is sort of a peak hour that the most traffic is coming to our site. So I don't want to go update these plugins right in the middle of my day. And that is probably my biggest headache with WordPress right now. And I noticed when I got into DropFunnels and used DropFunnels, first of all, you can't really go and just grab any random plugin and install it. It seems like you have sort of this closed system where you're going to make sure only the plugins that are going to keep your site running fast and smoothly are allowed to be installed on the site. And then second of all, I've never seen a notification that I need to update any plugins when I log into DropFunnels.
Yeah. And that these are just examples of all the things that bugged me for years and years, was all that, like, which host is the best, which plugins are the best, which conflicts are you going to have if you want a new feature, like you got to add a new plugin and hope it's compatible, right? And then every new update could bring your site down, right? So if you've got a full-time dev team, that's great. But for the average user, it's not acceptable. It just isn't. So that's what I mean by redefining a niche, is that we aren't redefining the sales funnel category. We're redefining the WordPress niche, meaning that we're giving people access to WordPress that previously would have no ability or understanding of how it can work and how it can benefit them, because it's just far too technical, but without losing the benefit.
So basically, in short, DropFunnels is taking care of the hosting, and they essentially, you have built upon WordPress in a way where they don't need to access anything that they're used to seeing in a WordPress site. It's got your UI or user experience kind of laid over the whole thing.
But it's also familiar at the same time. If you use WordPress, it still feels familiar when you're inside of DropFunnels. There's like kind of a new skin over the top, but it feels like you're in WordPress still.
Yeah, so we made things larger in sense, so like things are easier to find and to click, like once you kind of orient yourself. But yeah, you don't need a membership plugin like Access Ally. Like, Mike Dillard, for example, we rebuilt his entire infrastructure. He spent $500,000 building a and he started as an affiliate too, by the way, big time affiliate. Yeah. And so he spent $500,000 building his stuff hard coded into WordPress. Now every user gets it into DropFunnels now, no plugins at all. So yeah, you have that, but you don't have to worry about security or hosting or support or maintenance or plugins or themes or any of that. It's like, how do we eliminate the barriers to getting people to market? And sometimes, I'll be honest, guys, it exposes people's weaknesses really quickly.
Interesting.
Because you realize if all I have to do is launch my offer and drag out a checkout page, you realize, okay, I need to have something to sell, right? I have to have an offer, right?
Yeah. Did you run into any major challenges that you learned some big lessons from in the process of developing, maybe through the course of hiring and wireframing and all the stuff that comes with developing a SaaS? What are some of the hurdles you ran into and the lessons from them?
Oh, every day. I mean, I'm in the mode of fast forward failing. Like, we try to fail every day and break stuff because we're doing things WordPress has never been meant to do, really.
Right.
Or really any platform to build as much value in as we're looking to do. But yeah, I'd say from a personal perspective, it's made me get more technical because I'm not a coder. I'm not any of that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
From a team perspective, it's taught me the value of finding really good people. Mm-hmm. We've got about 20 people on staff now. And from like a solopreneur affiliate marketer to being the CEO of a SaaS company, like it's exposed my weaknesses and made me up level, not dive deep into the weeds of like the minutia. Like I have to be able to delegate things and give tasks to people.
I'm sure that's the toughest part.
You pretty quickly figure out which things you are the bottleneck in for your business.
Dude, we took a trip to Disney World with my family, and we actually made more money when I was gone than when I was here. So I'm like, I should just not be involved anymore.
I saw that picture too. Congrats, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I saw that trip. I was like jealous. I was like, Disneyland. The one over here is closed still. But the fact is you let go and let the team do the magic.
Yeah. And we've got an amazing dev team. So they are constantly solving the world's biggest problems and creating new features. Just for example, this week, actually, I guess a couple weeks ago, people were saying, hey, I really want my order forms to have multiple variations. So like if I have a t-shirt, I want to sell a medium or a large, and they can pick that size. Yeah. So like, okay, let's just build it in. So we built it in and launched it. And or they're like, hey, I want to sell a subscription to a membership or a pay in full discount. Okay, let's build it in. So nice. Every feature has come directly from our Facebook group, believe it or not. So people, maybe even if they aren't aware, they'll ask for something and then I'll secretly add it to a list, build it. And then a couple weeks later, be like, hey guys, here it is. And people are like,
the best form of marketing right there. Yeah.
That is awesome.
We listen to our
rabid fans too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That way.
So do you, how do you source developers? Because we deal with a lot of SaaS companies. We actually consult and advise a few SaaS companies as well. And one of the toughest things for a lot of people that we work with is finding good people. One of the companies we work with has gone through like 4 or 5 developers already in just like 3 months trying to find the best developer. Another one of our teams that we're working with is trying to expand development on that product, but they're having a hard time finding a good source to go to for developers. So I'm just kind of curious, where do you source them from?
Yeah. So I'll give you the broccoli in the chocolate. How about that? So I firmly believe that perfect talent isn't found, it's created. So everyone who works for me now on the team came from the community, and they were actually almost all of them were affiliate marketers. In fact, a lot of them do affiliate stuff on the side, but I saw the talent. I saw a gem in them. Like they'd be rising up and really helping people. Great. You're great for support. Or they'd be systemizing a funnel I might've built. And I'm like, wait, you'd be great for ops. So jump into ops and all these things. So I really believe hiring from within is big. And like people will only be about, I think 60 to 80% of what you are, right? Ever. And they start at about 40. So it's up to you how much up to your scale and expectations that they become. And that's based on you as a leader. Like, are you going to train them, help them to get where you want them to become? We've got VAs in the Philippines that are incredible. They're extremely well paid, primarily because they started small and we just trained them into learning the system, and now they just pop stuff out. So it was an investment in growing our teams and whatnot. And I've not in a year lost a single team member, which is amazing.
Yeah. That's great.
In fact, we just keep adding more people because we really have a great culture. And I think that's what helps people to thrive. So that's kind of like the broccoli, right? So here's the chocolate side of things, is that my secret weapon has been, I've had one specific development team who's really, really incredible. They're based out of India, but when we say that, people are like, oh no, those people are, well, no, it's another example of training people to be great, and they will be great for you.
That's right.
But again, I think the biggest point is that we've really grown together. Like you don't just find the perfect team, you create the perfect team.
Yeah.
And so, it's been a process of them knowing knowing what they know, and then me raising the standard of development and processes and whatnot. So if people want to connect with me and they really need some help, I could probably connect them to the team. They do a lot of projects. But yeah, I think the mindset of finding the perfect developer is just kind of a myth, and people should just
think
differently.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Well, I think I'd like to go into some of your thoughts behind sales funnels and just funnels in general, because I know that's everything. You mentioned that earlier as well. And if we could just talk about that, then we can probably lump into drop funnels a little bit, some of those cool features and how someone can create something. Because you were saying you can almost get the thing created faster than actually making the thing. So kind of curious your perspective of sales funnels, why they're important, and how you kind of see them in the whole process of an online business or affiliate marketer.
Yeah, totally. And so first of all, I'd say, as I mentioned earlier, everyone should just pick the tool that's best for them, right? So drop funnels is not for everybody, period. There is no tool that's for everybody. And you just need to vet whichever one's going to fit within your realm and the things that you need. But as far as like sales funnel builders are concerned, drop funnels really does make it very simple and gives you a lot of the benefit without the headache. But specifically, we do it in kind of a way that others aren't. I really believe in simplicity. And I think I see a lot of people coming from the group and they hear out in the market that you're one funnel away and you just need to make a lead magnet to a $7, to a $97, to a $197. And I'm like, guys, it's a race to the bottom. You're just kind of
right.
For most people, unless you have a massive ad budget or you're financially backed, don't waste your time on really complicated, expensive, time-consuming funnels. In fact, I believe and teach this model. The CEO of Rakuten, his name is Mikitani, teaches this concept of the rule of 3 and 10, which is that every system that you have will be broken in multiples of 3s and 10s. So for example, you can hit 3K a month kind of by accident, like that can just happen, but you don't really hit 10K per month consistently on accident. You have to have some systems, right? You have to have something in place for something to be replicated over and over and over. So you have a little system, but you'll never extend beyond 10K per month to hit 30 unless you have probably a really good higher ticket offer or massive scale, right? To get to that point. And I firmly believe that everyone with a solid 3 or 5K offer, something like that, it depends on your market or what you're doing. You can hit 30K with organic traffic just by yourself, managing it yourself, with just solving one problem for people, and closing that on a phone call. And we see that happen time and time again with no sales funnels, nothing but a Calendly booking link. That's it.
Right.
Get them on your calendar, solve their problem, charge them to do it.
And that's a sales funnel. So, and that's what I was trying to relate to is you said in early 1900s, that's when the funnel was developed, but it's just exactly what you said, but prior to Calendly.
Yeah. Back then SEO was guys yelling, step right up, step right up.
Yeah.
That's good.
So like stuff is reinvented, but nothing's new. There's nothing new under the sun. Right.
Yeah.
I think it was St. Elmo Elias, I think was the guy's name, but it was from the early 1900s. He invented the concept in psychology of a sales funnel. And it wasn't like Russell Brunson or ClickFunnels or any of these SaaS. No. They just redefined it in a digital age.
That's the mechanism. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mechanism, right?
Yeah.
So I always tell people, like, focus on the core offer. Like, how do you create something that is irresistible to people? Because when you do that, it's not hard to sell. People will beg you to buy it. In fact, there's no objection to it because you're just guiding people to a solution that they've wanted anyway. And you don't need fancy funnels. You don't need ads. You don't need massive scaled teams to do that. Once you surpass about 30K, you'll need probably some VAs. You'll need some fulfillment teams. You might be running some cold ads for additional lead generation and whatnot. But by that point, you can afford it because you have the cash flow to do so. So I always like to teach funnels are about a sequence, right? And just drop the ego and be willing to know where you are in that sequence. If you're under 10K a month consistently, it's all about sales. That's the only thing that matters is sales. Get sales dialed in. Up to 30K is systems and sales, getting people built into a pipeline and continually working on marketing and sales at the same time, right? Up to 100K is sales team and fulfillment teams, continually working on sales. Up to 300K, you are effectively off your own sales calls and you have sales teams selling for you and you're the CEO working on your business instead of in your business. And by the way, this is the same format, whether you're selling affiliate products, you're selling your own stuff. it's irrelevant
across the board. Yeah.
across the board. These revenue limits and these things, people see it happen time and time again.
Right. Yeah, I think I've read this before, a variation of it, but I love how specific this is and how every entrepreneur, business owner can apply this wherever they're at. And hardest thing is getting the ego out of the way and dropping some stuff that you maybe shouldn't be doing anymore to scale and grow.
A great book on this topic is Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson, Mark Ford. Yeah, like it kind of breaks down each of these sort of levels of when you're making this much, this is what you should be focused on. When you're making this much, this is what you should be focused on. Really, really good book on the topic.
That's right.
And that's, by the way, really hard. It's really hard to look at that. Like, wait, he's telling me to focus on sales? I don't want to. I want to build a website and start blogging and a YouTube channel and all that, right? Yeah. And it's like, I love the vision of like a bison when a storm is coming. They always head into the storm because they know they'll get out sooner.
Yeah, man.
Don't try to circumvent it or stay put. And it's only clear how you got out when you look back. So when I look back and I'm like, holy cow, I could have hit 100K months sooner if I would have just listened to that advice and done what I was supposed to do. Right.
Yeah. And that's all really short-term, long-term thinking too. Yeah. Decisions, like take the one that's probably going to hurt a little up front, because in the long run, you're probably going to be better off. Yeah. It's tough to do.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah. There's something that you said before we hit record that I want to actually revisit on the recording. And that was, you were talking about how a lot of Facebook ads are getting shut down right now. And a lot of people are struggling to figure out why their ads are getting shut down. They're just logging in one day and, hey, your account's been shut down. Can you talk about that for a second and kind of give us some insights into why you believe that's happening to people?
Yeah. And this is a super controversial topic, and I'm going to be really overgeneralized. And some people say, hey, that's not true. But let me give that preface that not all rules are universal, right? People can have different cases and different situations, right? So there's a couple layers of the Facebook ad platform that's critical to understand. Number one, they don't care about you, period. Right. And if the sooner you recognize that, the better, because then you realize they don't owe you anything and they'll never bend over backwards to take your money because they've got plenty of it. Mm-hmm. The only thing that matters to them is, number two, is that their product is their product and you are buying it. So whenever you are advertising, you're not buying eyeballs on your website, right? Even if that's the campaign objective, you are buying buyers is what you're doing. And so the platform itself of Facebook is incentivized to make their user experience perfect, right? That is their number one goal and objective. So here's what's happening. And it happens to be very prevalent on ClickFunnels because they're one of the market leaders and a lot of people are using those. There's two levels to ad account shutdown. Specifically, like you could actually just be uncompliant, right? Your stuff is bad. They don't want it on the platform. There's that. And that's been around for forever. But there's an underlying aspect of that very few marketers are aware of, which is the actual code base that your pages are on affects whether or not they want you on their platform. So specific to ClickFunnels, but there are some other platforms that do it similarly. Their actual URL structure, like when you get an account there, you get all these domains and everything. It sounds perfect. But it's an actual URL redirect in the eyes of Facebook. And this has come directly from multiple $1 million advertising agencies per month that they're spending. And they see it time and time again. Some of the biggest names I can mention here, but again, almost everyone would see it if they're actually advertising, is that the URL is a redirect, which is the same as circumventing Facebook's terms and conditions. So dropping all the nerd talk here, if you are using that URL structure, your pages are loading slow, bad user engagement, they will flag you for that. Your actual code base and the actual link you're sending them to, Facebook sees that as a redirect, and that's a black hat marketing tactic that they don't want on their platform, right? They are targeting these users specifically because of that. And we've seen crazy compliant offers, super clean, like chiropractor adjustment offers, but they're on a platform like ClickFunnels with this redirect issue, slow pages, and no domain reputation because it's a redirect. And by the way, Facebook looks at all of these things in the algorithm to gauge your legitimacy and your authenticity, as well as like footer links and all those types of things. They look at your stuff and realize, do we actually want these people here? Is it worth taking their money and having the risk of our users having a bad experience or getting gypped and ripped off because of redirects. And so even clean offers are getting shut down. Like they've been running for months, and they're just now starting to target this very specifically. We've seen it on hundreds of accounts, tons of Facebook ad groups on Facebook and everything. Everyone is seeing it. And the big leaders are saying time and time again, this is the constant. There's a lot of variables, but the one constant is the platform that you're on will determine whether or not you survive. It's almost like the sharpness of your knife on a survival situation. So again, I can't say that people on DropFunnels will never get shut down, because that's not the case either. But I have not yet heard of a single person getting shut down since they've been on the platform after switching. In fact, some people switch and they get their ads reapproved after making the switch.
Yeah. So it's more likely if you're on DropFunnels and you get shut down, your copy probably has some issues more so than your sort of technical structure has issues.
Yeah, because it's not the speed of your pages. It's not the compliance of the URL structure. It's not the tech that's the problem. You probably don't have you might have for example, there's this thing called a video fake out. It's like a non-functional video. If you have a video and they have to opt in to watch it, they'll block you for that. They don't want that, There's another thing called a web of trust score. You can go to weboftrust.com, I think it is. And it's one of the top 10 things that Facebook is looking at is, do you have a domain reputation, which has to exist. And if you have a web of trust score of 0, they take that into account as to whether or not to flag you, right?
Yeah.
So it's all these things,
Well, it's interesting too, because all the reasons you just said, like slow loading speed, page load time, and redirects, it doesn't bode well for SEO as well, for Google and the search engines. So it's kind of a negative on that front as well. So you can't run paid traffic effectively, and then you have the organic traffic is probably not happening, because I know you're big on also optimizing these funnel pages for ranking those as well, right?
Yeah. So. And by the way, my stance is not about like you have to be on DropFunnels. I am saying you have to be on WordPress, period. You have to be on a WordPress-based infrastructure, no matter what. Get off any other platform you're on, and because you can actually start to rank when you're on WordPress. Straight from Google, they said it solves 80 to 90% of the indexing issues that they have by default. So even if you do nothing, you can rank twice as fast as any other platform on the planet.
So that's like, get rid of Square, get out of Wix.
Everything.
I know some listeners are on that, so I'm shouting that out right now to you.
If it's not WordPress, it's either WordPress or not. That's the decision. So here's the example. As I was talking to someone she's done millions. She's really well edified in the marketing spaces and whatnot. And she was on a big sales funnel builder platform. She had a threat. One of her customers mentioned, hey, I'm gonna didn't like the program or whatever it was, and said, I'm gonna write a negative review. She had been around for years. They went onto their blog and wrote a negative review and outranked her on day one. And she's been around for years. Can you imagine that? One negative review beats you in the search engine.
That's sad. I mean, that's not good. But this is just great sounding for affiliate marketers too, because you have any kind of page around an affiliate product based off if you have all your keywords dialed in. Now you have the best of both sides, paid traffic if it's compliant, and then of course ranking as well.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if your sales funnels could rank.
Right.
I mean, right. When people are searching for a solution, they don't find a corporate site, they find your sales funnel.
Yeah. Just in time and learning / conversion into join your email list or whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and deep dive further into DropFunnels then. What are some of the features that you're most excited to talk about and share? Like what's the stuff when somebody says, well, what's different about DropFunnels? What's the stuff that you just light up and start telling people about it?
Yeah, I don't want to get too nerdy, but I'm sure there's plenty of nerds here who get really excited about this stuff too. So
we're good. That's me. Yeah. You're catering to me.
Yeah. So everything that I build into it, I'm a very active CEO. So I'm right in the Facebook group, listening to what people are asking for and what they need and what they're struggling with, building in new features to solve that. And so what I really love is that almost anything you can imagine, you can build. So for example, let's say that you are teaching piano lessons or something, and you've got 3 different courses, a 101, a 102, and a 103 class or whatever. You can decide, hey, I want to have a website called learningpiano.com. And then I'm going to have one major button that links directly so that major page can rank in the search engines, right? That's my main authority site that can link directly to my registration page that I can sell 1, 2, or all 3 of those courses. And dependent on what that person buys, will only get access to those once they log in. So they get access, they buy it, they get access to that either through maybe an annual subscription or a monthly subscription, whatever you want to do there. You can add a coupon code to give like a flash sale for things, and that's all built in. And then they log in to this course archive. It's what we call our advanced membership. And they'll see this index of courses, and you'll see 101, 201, or 101, 102, and 103. And then say they didn't buy 103. Well, they click on that, they don't get access to it, but you can sell that, right? So if they click on it, it's blocked, but then it could say, hey, you might be missing this course. Go add this to your order. And so it's
like
all
an
just
upsell process in that sense too.
Yeah. So even if you don't get the sale now, you can get it kind of later on. There's a link tracker kind of built in, which is really cool. So for example, if we had, say it's joeandmatt.com, which are main site, and you wanted to have, this is where my affiliate marketing side came out, is that when I send people to an affiliate link, I don't want to send them to calendly.com/affiliate link /12457, right?
Right.
It's not very pretty. So I built in a tracker that I could say joeandmatt.com/DropFunnels would be your DropFunnels affiliate link, and it would just redirect. You can track the hits to it and kind of see, how that's doing. I'm working right now on some pretty cool stuff for some video hosting options.
Ooh, nice.
Multiple different levels of courses, additional features built into courses as well. All of your funnels, you have unlimited funnels, so you can literally build anything you want, upsells, downsells.
And you have a bunch of templates and all that stuff as well inside of there, right?
Yeah, and actually right now by, I think in 2 weeks from the point of today's, so like end of November, we're launching a marketplace. If people are good at building authority sites or funnels, they can sell them in the platform. And
nice.
Well, by the time this is live, that should be live as well.
Yeah,
so.
like day of almost.
So we'll have that available too. And I want to make that a true, it's not just about DropFunnels, it's about all things direct response. So you could get sales copy, you could get Facebook ads pre-written, you could get services, or you could get all of that stuff in one repository. So that's the goal.
Killer. Damn, that's exciting.
Yeah.
We got to start using this more.
Well, okay. Well, what Joe just said leads me to another question. Let's say we've got a site over at evergreenprofits.com. That's where we house all of our podcasts, all of our blog posts, our sort of resources pages, our recommended tools, that sort of thing. But that site has been running for 10-ish years now. So as you can imagine, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of content on there. There's, existing landing pages that we've built with other tools on there. What does the process look like to get it from that platform to DropFunnels if we did want to migrate like a giant pre-existing site?
Yeah, it's a common question. And it's one of those things where I really just believe in serving people at the highest level and being completely transparent. In that particular case, there's not enough benefit to outweigh the time of doing that massive migration. If you have a small one and you want to rebuild it, we have teams that will do that for you. But as you've experienced with WordPress, there's hundreds of thousands of developers. They're all doing different code bases and all different themes and all that kind of stuff. So there is no option to just import it directly in. If you're on ClickFunnels specifically, we have a one-click import that'll take that design and make it a funnel. And certain people have done George Bryant did a huge migration. We brought in all of his stuff, all of his podcasts and blogs and sites and all that stuff, his courses. And so we'll do that as well. But honestly, the thing that serves you best is what you should just kind of keep things in place where they are. If you did move, there would be no harm, if that makes sense. Like if you keep it on the same URL, all of your links would continue to age well and rank and all that type of thing. But if you're going from WordPress to WordPress with a ton of content, there's not really enough benefit to outweigh your investment of time to make that happen.
The switching costs are too high.
So just link to your funnel. So if you had like mattandjoe.com or evergreenprofits.com, you could do like go.evergreenprofits.com would be your DropFunnels site, and that would be where your funnels are held, for example.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Gotcha. And we're kind of doing that right now too.
Yeah.
So cool. Okay. We'll just switch those to DropFunnels. That's easier. Nice. Well, I don't have anything else. I mean, this is awesome, man. Is there anything from, I guess, an affiliate marketer perspective, audience builder, someone looking to convert that we just haven't touched on this whole time here? I felt like we covered a lot, though. Maybe unless there's some other trends other than the Facebook ad shutdowns that we should be aware of.
Yeah, I think there really is a major cultural shift away from what we lovingly call in the industry bro marketing.
Yeah.
So I think, and this is maybe a little more existential or ethereal than you guys want to get, but honestly, I think authenticity, integrity is king. And when you are running sales calls or you're running sales funnels or you're doing anything in your business and it's aligned within you being who you are, people will find you because of who you are, not because of who you aren't or who you're trying to be. So whether you're an influencer or any of that stuff, be who you are. People, even if they aren't commenting on your stuff or buying your stuff right now, they're seeing what you're doing, right? And if people understand what a sales process is all about, the top of the funnel isn't when they get to your page. The top of your funnel is the post that you're making on Instagram or what you're doing on Facebook, or how, even deeper, how you respond to people in your political arguments that you make on
That's
Facebook,
probably the most.
right?
Yeah.
And they're going to decide whether or not they want to be around you based on how you behave, right?
Sure.
So I think people need to be more cognizant of, like, no one buys into the hype of the Lambos and the flash and cash and all that stuff.
I saw that was your, because I was cruising your Instagram, I think.
That was my Halloween costume.
I was like, oh God, did we invite this guy at our podcast? He had undies, he had like a little, one of these
Yeah, a little soul
goatees.
patch painted on. One guy photoshopped a Lambo in the background. That was super funny.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I just think, honestly, we're in the age of massive skepticism. And I think it's Daniel Pink who talks about that, the level of sophistication in and access to information as it compares to how you can sell people. They're pretty comparative. So for example, like back in the 70s, used car salesmen had all the information. You couldn't just look up how well a car was going to treat you or any of those things. So they had the control. Now users have the control. They have the information. So they already know everything about you that is possible to find online, right?
Amazon, look at what they're doing.
Yep. Is it going to be a negative review about your stuff the first thing that they see? Is it going to be your content that they see? What story do they hear? The narrative? How do they, when they interact with you, what's it like? Do they get a good feeling about that? I mean, I don't have to tell you guys. Clearly, you guys are amazing guys and very authentic, and you don't have to be someone that you're not. Like, being who you are, you'll find a snowball effect of bringing good people into your life, I think.
Well, very cool. Thanks so much for joining us today. And where can people go learn about DropFunnels? And is there also anywhere else online that you'd want people to go check out, social media accounts or anything else that you want to point people to?
Yeah, honestly, we've got just one environment, and it's we've got a Facebook group. You can search DropFunnels to get into it. It's a free group, and people are super supportive of each other. It's really the best place to kind of dive into our world. Obviously, there's trials for people. I'm sure you guys have got some good hookups for people there. But I just suggest people to, when it's the right time, for you and your business, dive into the world of digital marketing head first. Like, go all in, burn the boats, because you're going to just be a better person and win longer term, especially here in the age of COVID, right? When we, like, now's the time, right? to make this happen. So whether you're an affiliate, a networker, you have your own products, you want to launch your course, just move forward fearlessly, because there's a gap of opportunity in the market ready for you to jump into, and whoever gets there first wins.
Love it. Well, cool. Anybody listening, check out the DropFunnels group on Facebook, and then also hustleandflowchart.com/DropFunnels will actually be a special redirect over to where you can learn more about DropFunnels. So Jordan, thanks so much for spending the time with us today. This has been absolutely amazing.
Appreciate it.
Guys, you rock. This is super fun.